Why does everyone in the Big Ten become Iowa?
Everything evolves to eventually become a crab.
Ryan Day wanted the crab fight.
This team has two claws and he wants to snip at you with them.
He will play like the crab if he feels threatened.
Hello and welcome to the Sac-State CFB podcast. We're back, dude. It's I'm Josh. There's John. There's Vasishta. We're going to be talking about more off-season news. I hope you're all enjoying this blessed off-season where there's no bad news at all. Like,
that's right.
We're doing great over here. Starting off with our first topic, the SEC and Big Ten are saying everything is fine. That's their message. They recently met at a roundtable with different lawmakers. There's a big coalition of saving college football and saving college sports, and they met with different lawmakers and they submitted a 7-page report basically saying that, one, we should not pool our media rights like Texas Tech billionaire Cody Campbell is suggesting, and we should have our conferences have more autonomy, more freedom to negotiate with television companies, television networks, and get their own rules on air. So we're trying to figure out what the reaction to that. Sorry. We don't need the reaction. What am I saying? Texas Tech billionaire Cody Campbell produced the Saving College Sports initiative. A bunch of lawmakers are involved. The SEC and Big Ten are against that initiative because they want more autonomy for their conferences to represent themselves in TV network negotiations. There's been a lot of back and forth, but we can go over some of the highlights of their report and the response by the Louisville AD and the president, everything, and how that debate's going. How familiar with this are you two?
I'm aware that the Big Ten and the SEC said pooling their rights would not make them as much money. That's all I have seen about this.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's not surprising that the SEC and the Big Ten would have this point of view. Of course, they're going to just be trying to make as much fucking money as they can. But they are going to win this, right? The other conferences aren't going to win unless Congress steps in, which is just not going to happen, right? So they're going to win this. But this shit sucks because the conferences having so much free reign to maximize their TV revenue is why college football kind of sucks right now. The conferences pursuing these massive paydays from Fox and ESPN is why we have 4 Pacific Coast teams in the Midwestern Conference. It's why we have 2 Pacific Coast teams in the Atlantic Coast Conference. The shit sucks.
Well, we got more on updates on that for sure later in the episode. But I think one of the other things in their report was other leagues have tried to pool their broadcasting rights, and they called it a mistake. They said things were well-intentioned, trying to save Olympic sports and all that. But they said it would not generate as much revenue as they're projecting. That seems to be a theme, actually. There's a lot of crazy projections on financial decisions that are certainly going to be good for somebody.
Yeah.
I don't know about you and me.
I don't want to interrupt, but I also don't understand what point they're making. We know you'll make less money. That was never we're aware that's the compromise. Obviously you'll make less money. That's not the point.
Yeah.
I don't know why they're saying they regret it. We didn't know that going in. Anyway, sorry, continue.
Well, no, that's exactly it. That's what the Louisville AD was saying. I forget his name. He was saying that this is very obviously a conflict of interest. Of course, the 2 largest benefactors of the current system are against changing it to another system. But one of the things they commented on was that here's the bottom line from their summary. The study that they commissioned was defending the status quo, who benefit the most from it. The strongest arguments actually support smarter pooling rather than no pooling. The historical analogies are anachronistic, and it sidesteps the fundamental question. If centralized rights management is the proven model for every successful professional league in the world, why would college sports be the one exception? This feels fair, but I do think private equity ball is a little different. Like, even if I agree. So I don't know. I know which side I certainly belong to myself. I'm a Big 12 guy, but
So
again,
is the argument? Sorry. So is the argument that the Big Ten and the SEC don't want to merge media rights between each other, or is the argument we should just combine everything into one mega super league with one contract?
the Big Ten and SEC want to combine more likely themselves and maybe a handful of other top brands.
Pull the top 5 from every conference or whatever, and
Yeah,
do it
into
that
like
way.
one league that maybe they would have a full slate of like.
So the
games
European
and things
Super
and
League
scheduling.
thing that they tried.
Yeah,
Yes.
Okay.
that was
Exactly.
promptly rejected by so
Yes.
many
Right.
fans of the sport.
And then the Big 12 ACC idea is to operate like the NFL or Major League Baseball, where it's like more like the NFL, where it's like we have all of the rights for all the teams go to CBS and Fox and, you know, Amazon and ESPN for games here and there, and then everyone gets the same amount of money no matter who's watching your games or whatever. It's why we don't have like NFC versus AFC conversations about like the NFC is the power league and the AFC sucks. They should probably only have 2 teams in the playoff. Like, it's like, no, they all have,
That would
they all
be
get
amazing, though, wouldn't it?
It
Well,
is very 20th
that's
century.
what college football is. It sucks.
Well, yeah.
Like,
I know, but I'm just trying to
it's-
think like
it's
the
exhausting.
AFC didn't play anybody this year. They should be getting less money, less draft rights. Like,
Yeah. And think about how stupid that sounds. And that's what college football's postseason is, right? So it's like the
The
ACC Big
Patriots
12.
this season had a terrible schedule and rode that to the Super Bowl and then got whooped. So people
Oh
were
my God.
listen. The argument has been made in bad faith, I'm sure, but it has been made. There are a lot of dumb conversations. Trust and
Don't-
believe.
Yeah, we had a
Don't-
bad Super
don't
Bowl. We
do-
need to restructure the entire league. Like,
Yeah.
because
I
that
think,
happened.
yeah, every
This is
every
how we got
single year,
the Council
every
of
single
Sultans
year.
last year.
Yeah. Every year we have to redo the entire playoff format because one
didn't
team
do it.
won a game that I don't feel they were worthy of winning. Exactly,
the
the Council
result
of
we wanted.
Sultans.
We're not letting free and fair market principles dictate who survives in the
Yeah.
college football and college sports space. Like, if I don't know, I feel like it just makes more sense as like a dumb, uninformed guy that okay, it would be nice if college athletics were sold off as a thing that companies would bid for, instead of here's the SEC, here's the Big Ten, here's the Pac-12. Like, I understand that each conference does have different like value, but leaving it up to them leads to whatever we have going on with conference realignment right now.
Mhm.
And it's crazy that someone would actually put pen to paper and say, like, well, actually, this is how it's supposed to happen. Like, the results just don't make sense.
Yeah.
We can move on if you're ready.
I just have one
This is,
final thing, though, which is like, okay, the SEC and the Big Ten will never agree, and they'll never.
Correct.
Like, I don't see that happening. So if you're the ACC and the Big 12, you guys should be working together. You should have, like, you know, the way that college basketball has, like, the challenge, the Big Ten SEC challenge. Like, guys, you should just be doing that with each other and merging. You guys should be merging your media rights, like, if anything. Because you both kind of have some brand names that would be, like, worth it, you know?
Yeah, as soon as there's like collaboration between G5, Big 12, ACC, there's at least more of a leg to stand on. The thing I've liked about the Big 12 as it's survived somehow is that there's nobody you really have to listen to. Like, if it wasn't for Cody Campbell stepping up literally 3 years ago, like, Texas Tech wouldn't even be like that well thought of. Like, I remember saying
like
this,
him?
like, what was that?
Do people like him, Cody Campbell? Like,
No, he's a billionaire.
literally know
Fuck him.
nothing.
Well,
Okay, well,
listen,
that notwithstanding.
fair enough.
I like what he's doing. I mean,
Sure,
you know,
yeah, that's what I'm
whether
saying. Like,
whether his amount of wealth should exist is a separate thing.
to
Well,
be
that's the
fair,
thing.
we couldn't get a movement done like this without a guy like that.
Yeah.
But that's the thing, like, you find yourself rooting for people, like, having like a conference pride. You find yourself being like, no, I really do respect, like, how dare you slight BYU in the playoff, even though, like, I don't really care. Like, it's tough because so many things have been made out of, like, survival. Meanwhile, you're like poaching from the American Conference that ask me how I know this with Tulsa, but in the American Conference, we took Houston out of there, and that resultingly made Memphis worse somehow, made the rest of the like American Conference fall off a little bit. Cincinnati, for example, used to be like a really solid basketball program, and now they're like somehow winning against Kansas on the road, but they're still not like Cincinnati basketball like they might have been in their previous conference. And it just causes a chain of events that leads to everything being worse. And what a perfect segue into our next topic. Sacramento State, the college that produced Cam Scatavoo, is now joining the MAC. We got
Is there anything more
Saction
mid-American
on Tuesday nights.
than Sacramento?
It's even happening at that level.
It's honestly, I feel like out of all the moves, this is the one that has to be like, all right, this is broken. There's no that this would happen, and then next week the SEC and Big Ten would say everything's fine. Feels like a bridge too far. How much have you guys heard about this? Because there's like a little drama in the media about this whole move.
I've read a lot about this because this is true, like, sicko shit, dude. Like, what are you doing? I get it from Sacramento State's end, like, you know, you have like delusions of grandeur or whatever, and you're gonna take whatever deal you can to get out of FCS. They burned all of their bridges in the FCS on their way out in the last year or so. Like, they're
What
shit talking
happened?
everybody. They left their conference. They were gonna be FCS independent this year because they told like the Big Sky that they were gonna be moving up, even though they didn't have a partner yet. And the Big Sky was like, okay, cool. So like, you're not in our conference anymore. And then no one, like the Mountain West and the Pac-12, weren't like, yeah, Sacramento State, we've got to be adding you guys. So they were in limbo. They had put together an FCS independent schedule, which I think only had like 10 games or something. And then they, I guess, crawled to the MAC and were like, hey, we'll give you a bunch of money and you don't have to give us any money if you'll just let us in for 5
Hey,
years. It's a
SMU
5-year
did.
deal. So they're going to be an independent in 5 years if they don't find another landing spot.
Here's a question. Is the MAC still standing in 5 years?
I think so,
Probably.
right? Yeah, like,
mean,
don't
other
they
than-
have a viewership?
Not,
I mean, not
really.
me, but I'm just saying they have one, right?
Somebody's got to be watching that, you know.
Yeah,
Like-
no, they get pretty atrocious numbers, I think, on midweek action, which sucks. But
That's probably fair.
I mean, other than NIU leaving and then them adding Sac-State, they've been very stable. I mean, they added UMass recently, but I mean, it sucks because they were like one of the last like geographically coherent leagues. Like, it's like, okay, these are all of the directional Michigans and Ohio schools. Like,
Well, so I don't understand. So they're paying to be in the league for 5 years, but then there's no actual guarantee they get to be there after that. They're not just
Yeah.
paying to join officially.
Yeah, they like specifically announced that it's a 5-year term because they have to pay the NCAA, I think, like 6 million, and then they have to pay the MAC like 18 million or something, and I don't know if they're included in the TV deal. It's all very weird.
Dude, this is a horrible deal. Why even take it? Just be independent at that point.
Well,
Because they can't, the NCAA won't allow you to move up as an independent unless you like get a waiver. Like I think a school like North Dakota State probably could have gotten the waiver to be an FBS independent, but like the NCAA said no. Sac-State, you're just gonna no.
Yeah, I guess
not
they're
even
trying
one of
to
the
climb
good
the
FCS
ladder.
programs.
Yeah. So I mean it's I can point at it and laugh because they're paying all this money to join a league that makes no sense. But I also kind of get it because their institution decided that being an FBS football team was a priority and they went and did it. So good for them. They did one of the bullshit like economic impact studies that like professional teams do when they're trying to shake down the state for a new stadium. And they're like, they said that they would be generating $975 million of TV value in the next 5 years as a MAC team.
That's 5 years. If you wanted to just buy television space for that, like if you wanted to run 3 hours of commercials of airtime for Sacramento State as a school, as an institution, it would cost this much. It would be worth this much from ticket sales, from parking to convention, like not convention, like merchandise, everything. They're including everything in the study. And from the company that they commissioned this like study for, the company was then questioned about it later, and they're like, yeah, the AD is like misrepresenting the numbers. That's not what we meant. Like we
That's
told
awesome.
him this. We said this would be about like 12.5 million based on such and such and such. And he said, well, over 5 years, it would be this if you multiplied this and included this and that. And it just turned into a way higher number than what anyone really believes. Like
That's
people
awesome.
have
That
trouble
kinda makes me-
quantifying numbers that big.
That's
That's making me root for Sacramento State a little bit more, man. That's kind of
They've
sick
got, like,
to
a
just,
corrupt-
to just lie. Like, that's awesome.
They've got like a corrupt and desperate Silicon Valley founder like running that, like you know what I mean when they say they have 4 billion annual recurring revenue, you find out like they just made like $30 this week. And it's like, well, if you extrapolate that to the next 20 years, that adds up to $1 billion.
They're basically you saying like, if we just put everything we make last year in a money market account, we'll be
Yes.
so. I feel like this has to lead to something. This just can't be like what's the biggest game you can see Sacramento State hosting?
Alabama, Ohio State,
In the playoff,
Texas.
yup.
Yeah.
Akron
8
on a
seed Sac
Tuesday
State.
in November.
Yep.
Dude.
I don't know.
Right.
Maybe Sacramento State has like incredible fans. Like clearly they give a shit about football to like lose everything, like literally risk.
No. They have like a couple boosters that like were really in on this. So like, you know, I'm sure there's someone in was Bay Area, Northern California, sort of. I don't even know where San Jose.
Well, this is Northern
California.
Sacramento's
Yeah,
in the
NorCal.
valley. They're not even.
Right. So I'm sure there's somebody with funny money that's like, this is an incredible money-making opportunity. I just need to get them in the big show, and then I can pool whatever I want into it.
I think the plan is probably have enough success in the MAC over the next 5 years that either the Mountain West or the Pac-12 will be like, hey, we'll let you in this. It's okay now. But how do you guys think they're going to compete in the MAC? Because like on one hand, they were building their roster for an FCS run with 65 or whatever scholarships. Now they're a big time program. But also the MAC is kind of a terrible league. So like, are they gonna be fine? Are they looking at like 8-4? Or are they looking at like 3-9? What do we think? I don't know anything about Sacramento State as
Yeah,
like
it would be
football
irresponsible
team, but
for me to say this with any confidence, having literally zero
no,
knowledge.
the point of this is just we're throwing shit at a wall. What's gonna happen?
Sacramento State was terrible. I think they won what you said they had 10 games. I think they won 5.
No, that was their proposed 2026 FCS independent schedule.
Okay,
They
I
had not
believe I
finished
saw
it.
they were 5-7 last year.
They're
Nice,
not even
that's
good,
good.
and they're doing all this. I thought they were like some dominant FCS team that wanted to make the jump. Or
No,
something.
like I
They-
said, I gave them Cam Scatterby right up top to say that they did have talent at one point. The coach that was coaching him, gone. But 5-7 first year coach, I presume. Then right now, today, I don't think they're beating Kent State. I don't think they're beating Akron. I don't think they're beating Bowling Green. I don't think they're beating Toledo. Why are you here?
It's also
I feel
kind of
confident
funny.
saying those.
It's kind
Not
of
even
funny.
knowing anything about their roster, not knowing their recruiting class, not knowing anything. I just named 4 programs that have been in the MAC, that know how to recruit to the MAC, that you could tell them, oh yeah, you're going to play, you're from Ohio, you're playing in Michigan at the furthest. They're not beating Western Michigan. Like what? Listen, getting a foot in the door is very valuable. Getting a foot in the door at the absolute lowest spot on the D1 like totem pole, I'm not sure why.
Yeah.
But hey, I'm sure this makes sense for somebody.
So they went 7-5 in the Big Sky last year. They looks like they got whooped by every good team they played. But the they had made a big deal about this in the offseason before the 2025 season, that they were like going to be spending in NIL at the top of the FCS, and they were going all in to like, do something crazy last year. And I believe their coach talked like cash shit to Montana's head coach in a press conference before they played, and then they went out and lost by like 3 touchdowns in that game.
You don't mess
It's
with
just-
careers.
it's
So they're
dude.
Deion Sanders. They're going all. They gotta
They're-
have some flair and build a thing. And
They actually
Yeah.
do have a connection there. I think their coach last year, 2 years ago, left to go on Dion's staff this year. I think
Okay.
that's a thing.
Yeah.
Or they got
Mm.
him from Dion's staff. I don't know what direction it was, but there is a connection there.
all I'll say
So
is
they can
that
recruit in Colorado to get MAC players. Nice.
It makes a lot
I'll-
of sense when you phrase it like that. Why wouldn't you do this deal?
Yeah, all I'll say is that usually when a team moves up like a rung on the ladder, it's usually pretty bad in the first year or two.
That's actually
So-
kind of been changing lately with James Madison, and
True.
I mean Delaware and Missouri State were decent last year.
But here's the
Kennesaw
thing: is
State
those teams
won
were
10 games last year.
well, barring at least the JMU example, they were good and then
Yeah,
moved
that's
up.
true.
This team is not good, or they're okay at bat, and then they're moving up.
With it being the offseason, have we talked at all about North Dakota State on the show?
That's what I was getting to. Teams moving up that I kind of believe in. At first glance, them joining the Mountain West feels like you're losing every historical rivalry you've had. You have a fan base that's used to winning a lot. It seems like you're going to be a fish out of water again to a conference that's losing everybody. How many of the Mountain West teams, Boise's gone? Who else? I think Wyoming,
Wyoming's still there. Colorado State left.
UNLV,
I think.
Colorado State. Colorado State's leaving, I think.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, there goes a free win. What are you going to do? But right now, the remaining fan bases in the Mountain West, they're among the best. UNLV, I think, is the best program that they might face, and even though they're trying to leave, but they have Nevada stuck with them, and the state won't let them just hop shit without them. So there's not a lot of competition. You're going to be in one of the better G5 conferences. You have a crazy home field advantage. I know your fan base is excited for this. It's been on the table for years. It's just weird that it's happening now.
Yeah. I think that they're in a good spot to like do pretty well in the Mountain West. I mean, they're North Dakota State. They're a good program. They were the 1 seed in FCS last year in the playoff. They're always good. What is it, like 7 championships in the last 15 years? And there's a power vacuum in the Mountain West. I think it's a good spot. And like, yeah, is it? It sucks that they're leaving behind the Dakota Marker rivalry, like all those Big Sky games that they played all the time. But I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if South Dakota State ends up moving into the Mountain West in a few years. I haven't like looked into that to see if that's a possibility, but
Yeah, they could definitely run that shit. I'm kind of surprised that they couldn't get it to a better conference. Like they they have to bring viewership, like in a very concentrated way, but like they have to. I'm kind of
I'm going to
surprised
be
they
watching a
couldn't
bunch more Mountain West football than I normally do this year because I like watching North Dakota State. They're dope.
Yeah, I mean, I'm like, why didn't the Big 12 get them? That would have been so interesting. Like they just went out and got North Dakota State.
Well, I think it's
They're too small, I guess, but
well, no, that's the thing. The Big 12 has too many teams, kind of. Like, even if it's football only, it's still like
I would kick out a team for North
we're
Dakota
dividing
State.
the pie in a lot of different ways. Like, why split it further?
Send Oklahoma State to the MAC and add North Dakota State.
Not, bro. They're not gonna be that bad again, right?
They got a new coach.
Probably.
We'll see.
They got the entire North Texas team. They'll be pretty
fine.
damn good.
Yeah.
You had Oregon and Oregon State.
Yeah. It
More
just
consequences of realignment. What happens out west, dude? It just
Yeah, what
decided
is the
we're
status of
unstable
those
reasons.
teams? Like, what are the former Pac-12 teams even? Well, the teams Arizona or Washington State and Oregon State. What are they doing?
They're
Like,
like,
what's
they
the
rebuilt
plan?
the Pac-12. They're doing fine. They
Washington
ate
State
the
can't
good
keep a
part of
coach,
the Mountain
apparently.
West.
Sorry.
Who's in the conference now? Like, I know they added people.
There are 9 teams. One of them is basketball only. I believe every single one of them is like a whatever state university, which is hilarious. So let's try and go through these.
Okay.
We know we have Washington State and Oregon State. We have Boise State. I believe we have Colorado State.
Yep.
And then I think it's Fresno State.
Yep.
Is San Diego State? I don't think so. They are? Okay. Fuck.
I think
Utah
that's
State?
It's amazing you know this.
Texas State? Texas State is in there.
You got them.
Nice. And then Gonzaga for basketball. Beautiful.
Okay,
Yeah,
you
this
know
is
what?
a
That's
what a
actually
league. What
that's
a
actually
league.
not that bad. That's actually okay.
Yeah, right?
Yeah,
We
like,
actually-
that's not that bad.
This is actually a programming note that we're going to have to like train ourselves to do. There's no more G5. It's G6 now that the Pac-12 has more than 2 teams. We've got 6 smaller conferences.
Yeah. Poor Pac-12. I keep saying the P5. I keep saying the Power 5 by habit. You know,
I just got used to P4.
Yeah.
I gotta get used to it still. But that's a solid. That's actually a better conference than I thought it would be.
I'm
I was
impressed
gonna
you
joke.
remembered. Like
Yeah,
that
I'm
was like
amazed that
the
you
next
can do
game.
that.
I'm like, this is incredible. Wow, what an asset to the program.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, I was gonna
What a
joke and
time.
say they should take Sacramento State, but they are above that. It seemingly so they're doing better. Yeah.
Well, we forgot to mention there's another program in the Mountain West that North Dakota State's going to be going against. Northern Illinois, who played their last game in the MAC against Kent State. Northern Illinois signed up to join the Mountain West. I don't know how much they knew, but all those teams are now leaving, and they're playing NDSU and so on.
There can't possibly be more money in this Mountain West than the MAC. Like, enough of a difference for you to be flying across the country for every single away game, right? Like,
Yeah, I agree
don't
with
know.
you.
The Akron Zips just weren't cutting it, I guess. You know, I think
ridiculous.
if anything, this might
Stupid.
just be a scheduling sort of thing. The MAC has signed up for a lot of Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday games, And the Mountain West has been able to largely avoid that. They've had Thursday, Friday, Saturday, more than reasonable. So
I
I
know
think-
that a lot of MAC teams hate the midweek games.
yeah, I think
wouldn't
it's
you?
fun as a television product when you don't really care. But if you're a student, it's like, I have lab on Tuesdays. What do you want me to do? Like,
Yeah.
there's no tailgating, there's no culture around the game. You just have to show up and go. Like it's a basketball game. That's just not how it's done in college football. It's a shame what we do to this sport.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I thought you were going to say something.
No, sorry. My
Is that
cat-
Otto?
Yeah. He's
Beautiful.
Oh.
Sorry. He's got to go down. Okay.
While we're on NIU, do we want to talk about their weird situation?
Yeah. Can someone expand? I'm so out of the loop in the off season. I let my brain rest.
So, head coach Thomas Hammock takes an analyst job with the Seahawks, literally in the middle of February, February 18th. So, going from the head coach to a Midwest team, going to a Pacific Coast conference, and then saying, you know what? I'm going to be an analyst for a Super Bowl winning team. How about that? How much better sleep do you get now? The interim, Rob Harley, was immediately hired the same day. There was no lapse in head coaching announcements. What's supposed to happen when a coach is fired is that players have 5 days after, calendar days, not business days, and then they're allowed to enter into the transfer portal. I think because my guess is that because they're trying to avoid late portal additions, if guys are late, by portal additions, I mean people adding their names to the portal outside of the prescribed window. What happens in the middle of February, though, is that most of the portal stuff's done. It has to be a rare case like this. It's just a perfect situation. So what the NCAA has done is given them pushback on entering the portal after their coaches left, because technically it was just changing hands right away the same day. So what have you heard about this? I saw you were researching it beforehand.
Yes. So I was very confused about how this was working because I didn't understand why they didn't get the 5 days and then just the portal window opens. The reason that these players are temporarily trapped is because NIU did not hire a full-time coach. They're calling Rob Harley an interim coach for the next year. So they haven't made a new full-time hire, even though this guy is going to be the head coach there for at least the next 10 months. So since it's not a full-time hire, the 5-day thing doesn't kick in. They have a 30-day waiting period before they can go in the portal.
Wait, that's
So I think NIU is probably they probably are, playing a little scummy with the rules here and calling this guy an interim and not a full-time, but it gives them 30 days to, I guess, shore up relationships with all their players and try and make sure that the team that they built last month doesn't, all leave immediately.
Well, that's so stupid. Wait, so you have to wait for the team to hire a new head coach before you're allowed to leave, even though the reason you're allowed to leave is because the last guy is gone?
Yes, that was part of the changes that they made last year, because they, instead of the transfer portal for your coach leaving timer starting the minute your coach leaves, they added a 5-day waiting period after the new guy gets hired because of how much coaches bitched about players leaving when a coach left. Because as coaches, we can have freedom of movement ourselves, but not our fucking players. Our players have to stay,
Yeah.
no matter what.
The players' union, which doesn't exist, lost that debate or whatever that
Yeah.
was.
So, I don't know. I mean, this is just a weird one. It's the timing sucks for NIU. This sucks for those players. I mean, but at the same time, do you? I guess if you just have an awesome relationship with Thomas Hammock, like, and you don't really like Rob Harley, whatever, that's fine. Who cares? It's not like you can follow Hammock. You're an NIU player. You're not going to the Seahawks. Sorry.
All right. It's just, I don't understand. I don't understand how, when we have coaches leaving willy-nilly, how there's not at least a blanket, like, okay, the kids can go wherever they want. Like, I remember watching Iowa State players trickle out the door one by one following Matt Campbell, and it was hard to watch, but it's like, I ultimately understand. I committed to a structured organization with this person being like the person I'm accountable to. And the second that changes, there are rules in place that would allow me to do what I think is best. And removing that opportunity, it's just never going to feel right to me. Even if it's on a delayed timeline, it's weird that the rules are different based on what you call the guy that replaces him in name only.
Yeah.
Because it's not like the situation's going to be better in 30 days. There's no more spring portal window. So I don't know what that time difference does, but just make you resent. Like, I guess stay in your classes a little longer, get those half credit courses in, have a nice clean break to spring break, and then do some visits then while classes are paused.
Bro, I just quit. I just stopped. Like, who gives a shit? Like, this is so stupid. Like, I'm not doing this. Like, just go to class. Like, what else?
You're going to have players like breaking their foot so they can sit out the season and just go to class and not be accountable to anybody. I mean, I'm on scholarship. It's a sports injury. What do you want? Anyway, speaking of player movement, no move goes unpunished. But this is at least a binding agreement that was then broken. So Brendan Sorsby, somehow he keeps coming up in these conversations. Brendan Sorsby, yeah, another Cincinnati reference as John points to his hat.
I love Cincinnati. It's a beautiful city with terrible chili.
Really don't know what's going on there with you, but
no, I like Cincinnati. I lived there for 5 months when I was in college as an intern, and it's a cool city. I like Cincinnati. And then I work for GE, right? Our headquarters is outside Cincinnati, so I'm in Cincinnati like a few times a year.
Okay. You're you're not a bandwagon Cincy fan, all right. Brendan Sorsby left for Texas Tech. He had signed a 2-year deal. Cincinnati is pursuing legal action, and it's one of those things where it's like, all right, a Big 12 player signed a contract with the school. It was for 2 years. He then left after 1 year and now is going to another Big 12 school. Why would the Big 12 allow this? We talked about this with Miami and Duke with Darian Mensah. And I thought after we released that episode, I'm like, I don't get why the ACC would allow that. I don't get why the Big 12 would allow that until I saw what teams he was going to. You have a chance to make the best team in the Big 12 a little bit stronger instead of making a 7-win team a little bit more stable. And because conferences just have to be top heavy for their own health, I can see why they're allowing this. Now, if it were the other way around and it was just a financial thing, I'm curious how conference leaders would be taking it. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I mean, if he was leaving the other team in Ohio for Texas Tech, this would be a different discussion. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Kent State. The
Kent State.
I don't know. I mean, this is just like kind of dumb to me. It's like, are these contracts or are these not contracts? Like, Sorsby, just pay Cincinnati the fucking money and be done with this. Like, You don't have to send a certified letter to Cincinnati that says "fuck you, I'm not paying you," which like essentially is what they did.
How much does he owe them?
It's $1 million.
Okay, well, I could see why maybe he doesn't have $1 million, to be fair.
Yeah,
Well,
we did
that's
just
why
talk
they-
about how players spend money last episode.
Well, that's why they pursued him. They said because of the deal that he signed with Texas Tech, we know he's good for $1 million. So that's why we're pursuing this buyout.
It's not liquid, it's assets. Come on, man.
That's right. I have a plot of land in Lubbock, Texas, that is alleged to have a certain quantity of oil. That was what they're promising me. So
Yeah, I
unless
have
you want
oil
to
rights.
extract it, I'm gonna have to hang on to this $1 million.
Yeah, I mean, I could see him being stuck between he doesn't get the money at Texas Tech until he pays the buyout, and the buyout money only exists if he gets to Texas Tech. Like, I could see that happening. At which point, Brendan, get a bridge loan for $1 million and then pay it back.
Yeah, I don't know. I
This
wouldn't
is
be
a stupid
surprised
move. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Continue.
I wouldn't be surprised if they let this go to court without settling. I wouldn't be surprised if the court is like, yeah, dude, these contracts are total bullshit. Like, this isn't saying that you're signing a contract to play for Cincinnati. It says you're signing your exclusive NIL rights away to Cincinnati for a period of whatever. It's like, because we have to like do all this bullshit line. It's like the NIU interim thing. We have to like massage what we're doing into a framework that doesn't say we're paying you to play here. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if a judge is like, fuck you, this is not a contract. Like,
None of this is enforceable.
yeah, none of this is real.
Yeah, like, everyone is pissed. None of this works. I would love it if this went to like the U.S. Supreme Court or something. They're like, this is all bullshit. How does this even
Absolutely.
happen?
Let's kick it up to as many courts as possible. And let's, in the meantime, suspend Brendan Sorsby until he
Yes.
can play. And hey, then the Big 12's wide open, baby.
Well, we have to find out where this lawsuit was filed, because like Ole Miss and Alabama and Tennessee have all found out, just get a fucking homer judge in your county that your school's in, and you can do whatever you want. Actually,
Now,
Alabama did not figure that out. They got told to fuck off. Fuck Charles Bediako. He sucks. He's a G League washout. Anyways, continue.
I was just thinking, maybe you want to try the case in Ohio, but maybe you throw the defendant a bone and charge him in Texas. The thing is, depending on which county, you could get a TCU judge, you could get a Baylor judge, you could get a UT judge. There's a lot of options here, so I'll be curious what the Bearcats decide.
Yes, just one final note before we move on. I do think I know what you're saying, which is like they want their best team to be better so that they have a competitive thing. I just want to propose the other side, which is like, doesn't this make it so your league is less attractive to coaches? Like on some level, like if you just fuck, like there's no stability, you just fuck them sometimes. Like, I don't know. I would just have to imagine that's worth something, right?
I agree, but aren't people already trying to go to the Big Ten and SEC? Like that already
Exactly,
kind of
right?
exists. But then what are your other options? It sounds like the ACC can't handle this, the Big 12 can't handle this, and now you're out of Power 4 leagues. You're already trying to go to one to the other. Like, there's only so many guys. Now, unless you want to take an analyst role on the Seahawks, you're out of options.
Hey, for
This
coaches,
is what happens. Conditions worsen for everybody. So the choice gets made more clear.
for coaches who bitch about the portal and all of this nonsense, I have the same exact response I've had for the last 5 years that this has been a thing. That's what the fucking money is for, dude. You get paid $10 million. What do you mean you're complaining that like teenagers made a decision that you don't love? Like, that's what the money's for.
I mean, yeah, fair enough. I'm just saying, like, God, what was the coach that went to Oklahoma State? He had other offers, right?
Eric Morris.
Yeah, he had a few more
I'm
offers.
sure he did. Yeah.
He chose them for a reason. I'm just saying, like he probably had higher profile stuff. Yeah, but whatever. Anyway.
Next up, speaking of teenagers making a decision, we're gonna come back to our exciting 4-star transfer portal prospect. Before a bunch of NIU players enter the portal, there is one blue chip guy still available. Our favorite player, Cameron Morgan. We followed his timeline, and I have another update.
Before we go into the update, what is the status of the documentary? I need to know this.
Oh yeah.
No updates there.
Fuck.
We still have the same trailer that was from January 5th. Now, on February 14th, there is a report from a West Virginia podcast. I think it's like every day on West Virginia or something. They said that there was interest from them. This is important. They are a school outside of Texas, as Cameron Morgan had previously tweeted. I believe that tweet is still up. Then, 11 days later, 2/25, Cameron Morgan tweets a profile picture of himself in a black jersey with the portal on the chest. Because that's who he's kid. That's who he plays for right now. The caption, dude. Big announcement soon. That was 3 days ago. Yesterday, he retweets a post from Deion Sanders. Regular Bible verse Deion tweet. And a lot of guys like Deion Sanders, they'll retweet him whether they're Colorado fans or planning on playing there or not. But that is the first P4 school he has retweeted since the West Virginia interest. So, again, also out of Texas, if that wasn't clear.
Dude.
So, there's a lot on the table right now. And then for our final topic, that's all we have on Cameron Morgan. Oh, sir.
No. Before we leave, I think that we need to just add in one of the reasons for all of the "Are you woke enough" shenanigans that we had to pull a few weeks ago is there was like a academic eligibility concern with where he could go. I think, but that all got resolved. So that's why this recruitment has picked back up again.
Yes, that's the reason why the Virginia Tech deal fell through. Apparently, there was some review of a previous assignment at Baylor. I don't know what could have possibly changed in January after another semester of courses has gone on, but here we are, and now he's academically eligible. Which, by the way, that's the first time I've heard of anyone being academically ineligible in forever. That used to happen all the time. It just doesn't anymore.
Well, because they all just have other people do their homework, but you have to be a genuine.
Kids are smarter these days.
Academically, well, evidently not all of them, because he's somehow finding a way to be under question when the bar is so low.
This kid rocks. It's big Baylor was treating him wrong to try and keep the best edge rusher in the country.
I want to follow up with an extra thing, but Josh, what did you have next before I do?
Can we get Cameron Morgan to announce on this show?
We should try. We should honestly reach out and say that we should.
Hopefully, he doesn't feel like we were mean to him in the previous segment.
No, we're rooting for him. I want to tell him the pivot to the Christian. I want to tell him that. You should do that. That's the move, bro. We should DM him. That's a great note.
We will produce a documentary, dude. We'll do it.
Tell us your story. We're here.
Well, there's probably some NDA. You can't leak that before the documentary drops.
Okay.
Yeah, Netflix is got ironclad lawyers. All right, sorry. We can move on from this.
No, you're fine. For our final segment, I just wanted to say that I had a guest that was lined up to be here today. It kind of fell through. There's going to be a little pushback, but he was probably like the biggest guest we could possibly like ever have. He has changed the world, literally. He was like one of the biggest names of his era. I would say, a little divisive, but he even has like a movie credit recently. So I was DMing Baron Vladimir Harkonnen, and he was supposed to show up today. I asked him what he had time for, but I guess it was a little early. He's busy with some stuff on Arrakis right now. I wasn't sure what was going on, but he left a message. Give me just a second.
For our Dune viewership, this is
Well,
like peak.
when the Baron of Arrakis calls, you have to pick up the phone. You just have to.
Sorry.
When-
Here's the message he left. Hello. Is this thing on? Yes. Thank you for having me on the Sac-State CFB podcast. I just knew I had to make an appearance here. Things are going quite well on my Arrakis, my Dune, my spice. Things have been going beautifully. My beloved Fade Ratha is on a crash course to be the new commissioner of the Big Ten. And as my Iowa Hawkeyes have a chance to ascend to the next generation of college football superiority, I knew that this would be an opportunity for us to be even better than we thought before. Joshua had a few questions for me. I'm not really sure what to make of them. As I said, I'm quite busy here on Arrakis. But thank you for making time to have me. Go Hawkeyes.
I would
He's
not have expected the Baron of Arrakis to be a Hawkeyes fan. Really says a lot about their booster culture over there.
I don't know. I think something about Caitlin Clark being in the arena one time with him, I don't know, it just made an impression.
I would have thought a Sacramento State booster potentially.
I would have thought Ohio State.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a great get, Josh.
Yeah, there was a little bit more going on. I talked to him for a second. There was something about like a servant boy that recently happened. He didn't want to go into it. I was trying to ask, but I basically just asked him how he deals with so many Fremen that don't like him. What does he do when he has to negotiate with them? He says he doesn't negotiate with Fremen. He just handles them. I don't really know what he meant, but the collapsed person in the corner of the room kind of filled in the missing information. But yeah,
That's a good piece of advice for how we should handle players.
Yeah.
Don't negotiate with terrorists. They're evil. They want
that's
money.
right.
They want my money. They can't have it.
They want your spice too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little unfortunate though. Baron probably would have been here with us live, but he had the whole servant boy thing. Fade Ratha had to be trained for the Big Ten. He's got a war thing going on right now, so we
can keep politics out of sports, right? It's just when you get a name like that, you have to.
That's the Baron Vladimir Harkonnen. He's one of the great houses, second only to the Emperor. How can we say no?
You can't. You truly can't.
You just can't. But yeah, thanks again for watching the Sac-State CFB podcast. We hope that you'll keep in line with us. We'll leave our comments open, and we're gonna have our chats stay open. We're gonna be there for you, and we're gonna keep politics as much as we can out of it.
I think Baron Harkonnen would have been able to join us live if, I don't know, maybe one of us was bald, wearing a white t-shirt, perhaps. I don't know. Just a thought.
I forgot to shave today. My lining's fucked up. I know the listeners weren't able to tell, but yeah, it's kind of rough right now.
It would have been a wonderful use of AI to just create a horrible thing.
No, I don't hit the gym as often, so I can't show up here in a white t-shirt. I'm not gonna look good.
All right.
Well, thank you and God bless.
God bless.